Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication did not work for me. Modern medication.
Hello, welcome to it. As my compatriot PK, producer PK, stated, this is it, Mercy TV, episode 9 of our coronavirus series, where we're filming it here. Oh, and I forgot my brother Sonny.
Hello.
And we are here in the wilds of Cornelius, Oregon, filming our show off location since the studio is closed for the show, and we are grateful that CCTV will allow us to still come get the equipment and to put the show on.
Thank you to
such
CCTV.
As it is. Yeah. Can't say enough about them. You can find out more about CCTV at cctvsalem.org. And if you're in the Salem area, a resident, you can utilize the resources there at CCTV to get out your message or hobby or interest. As long as you're a resident of the area, can avail yourself of their resources. So check them out on channel 23 of cable in the Salem metro area.
And 22 and 21.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
You people in the hospital, hope you're getting better, but you need to talk to your doctor about the use of cannabis, because you can use it in many different forms. You don't have to smoke the stuff. Talk to your children or your brothers and sisters about the many benefits of cannabis and hemp.
Yeah, talk to your doctors, your nurses, your healthcare providers. Those folks in the foster home have a really hard climb, especially those with federal funding. But we have to keep at it, you know. We have to, and for those that are suffering through a collision with the federal laws, even more so for you to register, vote, and get everyone you know to do so also. Because that's the only way we're going to change that situation. It's not enough to end cannabis prohibition, which isn't really true, but that's another semantic there.
Excuse me, the war isn't over yet, my friends. And we have to make sure that the right officials are in the legislature.
At all levels, you know. Though we've changed the laws here in Oregon and the situation isn't as bad as it is for others, it's still not what it should be. The patients here in Oregon have to pay a terrible price to get their card. The program is not what it should be. There's all kinds of restrictions on growing, and stuff. On
we
getting
want
a grower,
everybody to vote.
Right, that's the only way we're going to change that,
We want everybody to know. Everybody's got to talk. Everybody's, we all need to be able to talk. We need to be able to share. We need to be able to share medicine.
Right, yeah. That networking, that's the valuable part, or used to be.
So we can all smoke.
Is not happening here in Oregon, right?
Yeah. So we can all go down to the Capitol. Bro, we go down and we tell them what we want. So when we go over to the dispensary, we don't pay so much.
Right, and it's not so much what we want,
Well, no,
it's
just
what the patients want, what the patients need.
What we're able to afford.
Right.
It's what we're able to afford.
Sonny's speaking as a patient many times over when he talks about, what patients have to go through. And unlike many of our compatriots in the cannabis movement, we're not involved with any professionals making money off of this. We're spending money to get here. And so my brother here, he's got to go out there and hustle for his medicine like all the other patients, Unfortunately, he's not able to have a grow in his situation. He's not able to get someone to grow for him, mostly because of the expense to being a grower. Not to mention the requirements. You've got to, which all boil down to expenses too.
Metric system.
You've got to have an internet connection. You've got to go on and know this software or hire somebody who does. You've got to And not just the financial and technical requirements, but the physical. You've got to weigh your plants, each and every plant. What if it's in a pot? You know, you can lift that pot up on the thing, you know? It's crazy. You know?
I have people that can. I have people that can lift the pot for me.
But not all patients do, you know? And like, not all patients can have a grow area. It'd be one thing for them to have a space. They can get somebody to come in and take care of their garden for them. But those in federal housings, those in home care, those in a number of situations, they can't have a garden on site. They've got to rent another location, another address, or have someone grow there for them. You know, you can assign somebody to be your grower in the program.
Hundreds of dollars.
Yeah. And for no reason, no good reason. It's all about prohibition, you know? And that's why we got to end prohibition. And to end it, we've got to vote in true leadership who is going to, you know, lead us out of this pit of these bad things like cannabis prohibition, which I have to say that it reflects on how they're dealing with the coronavirus, you know? The fact, you know, that they stepped away from medicine and science in their prohibition.
Cannabis is good.
Now we're paying the price for it.
Cannabis is good for our organs. Cannabis is good for our blood. Cannabis is good for us in so many ways. Cannabis is good for us. And you know what? Why do we have to fight for cannabis? We shouldn't be fighting for cannabis.
No, at every level. Here in Oregon, we have to fight to get conditions added to it. You mean so many things we already know that it's effective for, yet every time we have to go to the Cannabis Commission here in Oregon, we have to say that it's medicine at all for anything. You know, they just can't understand either how it works for this condition. Well, it works for so many conditions. You know, why do we have to prove it? You know, so many other things like oxychloroquine. You know, the president's just saying, hey, somebody says it works, and so that's good enough for me. And okay, well, why isn't that good enough for cannabis? You know,
I just want to explain to the children that we got to teach. That's the education. See, this is where education comes in, and education is where we need to start today. I mean, education, you know, that's what our schools and education and cannabis education, you know, these back to, you know, these are on so many levels, you know, back to
participation.
Well, all the conditions that cannabis works on, all the different ways, modes of application that go with those conditions. Let's talk about respiratory conditions like the coronavirus, asthma, and other lung conditions. They used to use cannabis in treating those, and effectively. So I wouldn't be surprised, like we heard about a company in Canada that's producing some CBD-based medicine that their studies show works on coronavirus. That's all well and good. We'd love to believe that, but we need, you know, scientific empirical evidence. Just like there's a number of people who believe that cannabis cures cancer. You know, the stories are not good enough. Yeah, there's a lot of evidence to support that, but we can't say it. We don't want to tell people to get their hopes up on it. But I would put money that once we ended prohibition, that we would find out that this is true.
And it's been going on forever.
Because the point of the point of fact, the DEA and agencies like it have been going around destroying evidence of how cannabis cures things like cancer for a number of decades now. And that's another reason to vote, register, vote, get everybody you know, because that's the only way we're going to stop stuff like that happening. Not just about cannabis, but about coronavirus and other things that are killing us, you know.
We want patients to have medicine that helps them to be stronger, you know. And these are the things we're trying to get: education and patience, and be able to have a healthier life. And education for for people, and these are the things we're trying to do and give to other patients. And people don't understand these things, and back to education to others, you know, and give them this opportunity, you know, back to education and opportunities. And
Well, that's the other way to fight the stigma, the propaganda that's gone on for, gosh, almost 100 years now, about cannabis, and not just the ways it's beneficial, but the fact that it's benign. The stories about it killing and making people crazy and mutating people, stuff is nonsense. It's the mythological creatures. You know, you talk about your unicorns. These people that have suffered accordingly, they don't have any bodies. You know, it's odd that cannabis has been convicted so thoroughly, and yet no body was ever produced in its trial. And it is costing society. It's not just oh well, we're not gaining. No, it's an actual cost, and we should stop paying that cost and get the benefits of this valuable plant.
well, when we know that it's so good for us,
If the laws were changed back in 1937, where cannabis and hemp became illegal, before that, you could go down to the local store and get products that had cannabis in it, and it was beneficial for us.
and it was in everything.
Yeah.
Well, lots of things. You had to go through, and you had to look and read every, you know, what was, you know, you had to do your hunting to find it, what were, you know, and this is things that we're finding out today, you know, back to our responsibilities. If you want to know more, and these are the things,
Research.
you know, that if you want to know more, that, you know, at the Mercy Center, we know that we've found out, you know, that people don't want to know because why don't they want to know? I don't understand.
Yeah. So
Propaganda.
you know, yeah, you get back to that propaganda that built the stigma, and it was been so powerful and pervasive that they tried to make finding out the truth and spreading it a crime too. You know, there was actually discussion amongst the drug warriors about criticizing the drug war illegal. That's how deep their need to control everything was. You know, they tried hard to control the media, to say, you know, talk about any stories, you know, about the wrong and the harm of it. It's like aiding the enemy. You know, we screwed up, but we can't let anybody know. That would help the enemy, you know, and crap. And that's bullshit, you know. Sorry, we have to bleep that later, but that's the truth. And we got to stop letting those lies rule us, you know, in this issue and everything else. Because there's the harm. There's not just the harm of us not getting cured. We got loved ones that are suffering needlessly, a lot of expenses with that suffering, paying money. The insurance companies, you'd think, would be in on this, the lowering the cost of everything because of cannabis.
It's the pharmaceutical companies, the oil companies, and other things in the government that is putting the downfall on cannabis.
Yep.
And you wouldn't hear a brief saying that cannabis would harm you with different things like a pharmaceutical local drug. Hey, this may cause you blindness or empathy or whatever.
And not only are we paying a price in society due to prohibition, not allowing people, good people, to get cured and to go have a life, our expenses of suppressing the truth about getting cured and having about lowering our costs and so forth. Not only are we wasting money with the people who are doing this, the monsters who are doing this, but we're losing because of good people put in jail they didn't have to be. That's a lie that, this war on people was saving society, and it wasn't. It was costing society. It still is. And we've got to stop doing it. Furthermore, there wasn't just the waste of these loss of people or the money's directed to these people and not to real criminals doing real things, really costing society and so forth. But the people doing it were empowered to commit other crimes, too. It's just like alcohol prohibition. Dirty cops or cops that were looking the other way on the gangsters doing that weren't just, that. It was other bad things and all. And those cost society, and that's why we should stop doing it. It's not like, it's not my problem. Yeah, it is. It's your waste. And that's one of the things we're trying to educate people on, along with what to do about it, which is register, vote, and get everyone they know to do so also. And along the process of getting people registered and voting is education, the big E. Have that conversation.
Participation.
Around the dinner table, around the coffee table, around the beer table, everywhere, man. You can, And bring voter registration with you. So. Also, on Channel 23, for those of you who watch it, is PK's My Garden.
Yep, it's starting, and it's this beginning of the season, and the weather has been strange here. And
new season of My Garden, where we're planting, and we got some sprouts coming up.
We got sprouts coming up. We got clones that we got from the neighbors that are still surviving, a couple, and other clones from our buddy fellow grower.
How old should plants, clones, be to sex them, to see what sex they're going to be? Or are, I guess.
Some people, once they have like 3 sets of leaves going
so
up.
branch.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they'll cut the light back down to under 12, and in a week or two they can see if it's going to be a male or a female. And a male has the balls in that, and a female. But then you got the hermaphrodite that could fool you until, midway in the heart growing size too.
Right.
That and those seeds aren't any good to regenerate.
Oh, really?
Well, usually they're white.
Okay, which means
they're not fertile.
they're neutered, are they? Huh?
Yeah.
Well, they're not,
So the darker the seed, especially the ones with like tiger stripes in it. There.
Those are usually quality plant.
Okay, something for folks out there to know. Right?
They'll be strong. Those would be good.
All right.
Well, they'd be nice and sticky and gooey.
So we're talking like 3 weeks old. Is a week to grow the 3, and then 2 more weeks after that is what you're saying. So.
Depends on the strain.
Yeah.
Depends on the weather. Depends on the how cold and hot.
Okay. Well, yeah, he's talking about putting seeds in the ground. Some folks will have a little seed farm indoors, where the lights are on pretty much 24 hours, aren't they? Or
yeah, to get them started, and once they're started and transferred into a soil cup or a next size up, and you could cut down the light, and you see the development.
And you're ready to rock.
Yeah. If you have to rip that out because I see balls form on it, or now that's a nice little flower, and okay, that's going to be a female. But if the plant has stress during its lifetime, it may hermaphrodite or change.
Oh, interesting. See, so even if you start with a female, if something happens along the way, plus there's also
Bugs.
well, with hemp being in Oregon, also there's the chance of especially if you have outdoor.
Cross-pollination.
Yeah,
That's it. See,
So-
being outside.
and that's an interesting point. That was one point that was raised by prohibitionists, even to prevent hemp. Oddly enough, and it just goes to show how we in the movement can't let ourselves get divided, because there's a lot of bad feeling, bad blood, if you will, between the movement, between like the patients who felt that Measure 91, the recreational law, screwed them, and it's almost a deliberate thing. But really during the campaign, it was prohibitionists more than real activists, certainly, that were driving these arguments. We're saying that that's a real point, instead. Because really, the prohibitionists don't, want hemp and recreational to kill each other. They don't care, about the potency of it. In fact, they've railed against that.
Well, if the hemp plant or the cannabis plant was too high in THC, those people couldn't register as one of those.
Right. Well, that's for the hemp guys, So they're turning the hemp against recreational, and hemp against medical against recreational, and we have to cut all that crap out and say, hey, let's end the prohibition, and if some plants hermaphrodite or go male or something, that's a small price to pay to end this freaking war and cut the crap out, So it's medical for everyone, and every condition is tried out for it,
And costs are made reasonable or non-existent because it is a plant from.
Yeah, and it's based on the things that are done or measured is based on science and medicine and facts, and not fear and based on lies and hate and shit. So that's the way we should
Operate.
do it. Yeah,
So I guess it's getting close to the end, huh?
we're getting about 4 minutes there. Yeah.
So thank you for watching. Thanks for CCTV. Thank you for Mike. Thank you for Dr. Lebec. Thank you for Shauna and Grandma Janet and the other members of the Mercy Center. That we still need your help, like we'll give our help to you.
Yeah. Visit mercycenters.org for more information about Mercy, the Medical Cannabis Resource Center, a Oregon State registered nonprofit organization, and our action items like Mercy TV. Thanks very much again to CCTV of Salem for their equipment and for putting us on the air, and for all their support in putting out news and information that literally saves people's lives.
Very much.
People in the hospital, get better, but talk to your doctors about using cannabis. You don't have to smoke it to get the benefits of the plant.
Well,
That's
you
right.
can rub it on. You can use it topically.
Right, as well as consuming it, medibles, and there's a number of ways to make it in a form that's a lot more
Oh, yes.
you control doses, so you're not having these episodes that you may hear in the news. Yeah, so
Well, yeah, you can make it in butter and make cookies.
I think the most important thing, though, is for folks to understand that even in the worst case scenario, you're not going to die. You're not going to go crazy and kill and eat your family. You're not, don't drive. I mean, a lot of people are bad drivers and should be driving anyway. And certainly don't go driving under the influence of cannabis or anything else. Anger is probably more dangerous for people to drive under than cannabis, but still don't do it. At the same time, though, don't fear it. Let's not make it keeping it illegal, and free the weed to cure, produce, and in some cases inspire people to have full, complete, better lives there. Not just medically to get out there and do it, not just industrially to be used in making things, not just inspirationally, like it was for, say, Carl Sagan, astrophysicist, who was a cannabis consumer, he of billions and billions of star fame there. So that's our bit. We hope you have some information here to go out and educate your friends, your family, your co-workers, all your people you know, and then people you don't know yet, as you register them and get them to vote this and every single opportunity that you can.
So have fun, go fly a kite on a good day, and enjoy life, my friends.
Right
Peace
on.
and victory.
Thanks so much. We'll see you next time on Mercy TV.
Thank you. Be safe.
You want to say anything before I turn it off, Glenn?
Yes, good night.
Good night. God bless you all, every single one of you.